Sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.
Was a good, had leadership quality, so that's what I saw when I met him.
Coach, he has not been put on IR yet. Do you expect the behind the envelope to be back this week, or do you think he might be out a little bit longer?
That's always a question for the head coach. I don't deal with the injury questions, but we'll be happy to get him when he comes back, and I'm sure he's working hard to get back on the field as soon as possible.
What have you seen from the other linebackers that have been recently signed, guys like Jalen Smith and Malik Reed? What have those guys been able to contribute to the team so far?
First thing, they're all professionals. They come in, work pretty hard in the classroom and on the practice field. Great energy from both of those guys. And, when they got their opportunities to get in the game, being physical, able to make tackles, that's always a positive, and playing with great effort.
You have 8 sacks in the game. How is that possible? What are the things that that people don't really necessarily see that equated to that success?
It starts with the players first and foremost in terms of executing their assignments and the game plan for that game. They did a good job with that. But the thing that stands out the most when you look at all the pressures was the effort. Just the guys, relentless pursuit to the ball. They were hungry to get to the football. And, I would say, again, I can't give you an exact number, but a lot of sacks throughout this league, it starts with the effort of those guys, players, playing, really, really hard on each play and making the play. That's where a lot of sacks come in this league. And a combination of that and obviously on the back end, the coverage. Just sacks aren't possible if the coverage has to all tie together. So, again, it's all about team defense, the coverage and the rush all being tied together.
Sorry to cut you off there.
No, you're fine.
The results were obviously great on Sunday. But how did everything go communications-wise, logistically? There's obviously a very quick turnover. How did all that stuff go?
The players, they did a good job communicating on and off the field. The coaching staff, each day is new and you have to adjust with it. And it worked out on Sunday. So, it's a new week this week and we'll see how it goes this week. But it worked out on Sunday.
Coach, your players call themselves the misfits, and this is a defense where maybe there isn't a ton of people nationally known, but the sum of their parts, they're playing well. For you, how much pride do you take in that it's more about the we than the me?
For me, you can't play defense without the we. It's 11 people out there we're not calling plays, we're calling the defense to defend the field and or the situation, and you need all 11 to do that. So I'm proud of those guys, how they're playing and playing for each other, playing together, and just proud about the way they're improving each week. And so, that's the biggest thing.
Spillane is a guy that's not getting a lot of national attention, but he's doing a lot in your quarterbacking your offense, your defense, excuse me. Can you talk about his play and your thoughts on him, sir?
I really enjoy being around him. He's great in terms of leadership, good energy every day. He's really consistent, and thankfully he could get off blocks. He could tackle the ball carrier. He could communicate. Those would be, all on the checklist for a linebacker, so those are always good.
Amik talked about after the game, he was joking, but because he had made a mistake earlier on his interception. Had to get that for PG. You can't even talk about Amik without coaches and teammates laughing. What is it about his gregarious attitude that has endeared him to this franchise?
I love that word. I remember that on a spelling test once upon a time. That was one I fell in love with. Miscellaneous was the first word I fell in love with, and gregarious that might have been in the top 10. Miss Mastriani's my English class in 4th grade. Anyway, but his personality, again, he's always smiling, has good energy around the building, and it's all about resetting after one bad play. I mean, again, I can't speak on what play he's talking about, but I just know that he's doing a good job for us. He's a ball hawk who gets to the ball, and his toughness always shows up. That's one thing, whether it's tackling, in tight man-to-man coverage, being able mentally tough to be able to bounce back from a bad play. That's the thing that stands out with me for him.
In the early parts of kind of evaluating the Jets, the Jets film, what are the threats that you feel like Garrett Wilson provides for your cornerbacks? And also, when you look at Breece Hall, what are some things that he can do that you guys are going to have to limit?
To start with those two, yeah. I'll say with Hall, the thing is, everybody's at the point of attack. no matter where the play is designed to go, he could go anywhere with the ball. And then for the receiver, just in terms of the combination of speed, quickness, and the ability to catch the ball, from all different types of angles, his catch radius is pretty dynamic, in my opinion, and he presents a lot of challenges, and they do a good job of moving him around and finding ways to get him the ball. So both very skilled players, and, it's going to be a challenge on Sunday.
Coach, halfway through his first season, can you talk a little bit about the development of Tyree Wilson?
Getting better every day. Love his work ethic. I love the fact that his physicality showing up on the field as a rookie edge player. But that's the thing, working hard to get better every day, and you can see it out there on the field. I'm happy for him.
When you have a team that's playing, your opponent you have coming up that plays on a Monday night game, does that could have changed the preparation at all? That you have to wait a little bit to see their last game, but everybody's watching it. Your players are locked into it.
I don't think it changes. We've gone through it before, so it's nothing new, and we're not the only team that has to deal with it during the season, but nothing really changes in terms of that. But you might wait a little bit just to see the game to add it to your scouting report. But we're, by the time it's Monday night, we're already along with the game planning and looking at the opponent.
I guess in that case, do you sometimes see something and you say, "Oh, wait, maybe we didn't see that. Maybe we didn't understand that."
Absolutely, that always happens. That always happens, but that's nothing unique to us. That always happens.
You have a unique relationship with your players. It's very close, your defensive guys, the way they are with you. Is that something that developed maybe the way you were raised? Is it how maybe you were as a player, what you saw in other coaches? But what is that? Because you've been around the game long enough to know that isn't always the norm.
Well, me as a player, I was terrible, so that's one thing. Let's start there. So I had to get relationships with my coaches just to stay on the team. But I know this, that one of the coaches that had the most influence on me in my life, Coach Brooks, who's at Dartmouth now, I consider him like an older brother figure. I had a great relationship with him because the way he poured into us. And when we all get on, whether it's Zoom or text messages, he has a really tight relationship with all of his former players. And I don't know, for all the years he's been in the Ivy League, and, the Ivy League doesn't have a bunch of captains per team. I would say he probably had coached his position probably like 15 to 20 captains for whether it's Yale, Dartmouth, Penn, whatever it's been. So he's been a great influence to me. The relationship I have with the players here, it starts with listening, and I learned that early in my career. You got to be a good listener. Sometimes I'm good at it, sometimes I'm bad at it, but, thankfully have a relationship where, they could give me a little forgiveness once in a while when I'm not doing a good job of listening. But that's the main component right there. All right, thank you.
Still spell miscellaneous?
No, come on now. That, ooh.
Thanks, Pete.
That's C period.
You've been watching breaking news from the Las Vegas.